crazy cast on energy right now. I need to cast something on, and I need it to be something small-ish, because right now I just have sweaters on the needles, and I've been blowing through these big projects. Sorry, not blowing through, crawling through these larger projects, and I am beyond ready for just like a quick done project. I'm also ready to dive into another granny square project just to make sure that I'm maintaining that muscle. I don't know. Do I need a reason to get back into granny square projects? Not really. The balaclava I currently have in my closet is a bit more fitted, and so I think I do want to try making a larger one. It's just that I made like an oversized one uh like 2 years ago, I think, and I didn't like it at all, and I kind of considered it a fail and never ever wore it. I like the way that the larger ones look, and I like my tighter one for when it's really cold outside, but sometimes when I want something a little bit in between, I think having a looser one would be helpful. I have some yarn left over. Back from, if you see my like granny square vest video, I had purchased a ton of yarn all at once and ended up not needing to use it, so I used a bunch of it for that project, and two balls that I didn't end up using on that project that I now get to use is Knitting for Olive Merino, and I have it in the color oatmeal and the color licorice. Oh, licorice oatmeal. That sounds really gross. What is licorice? Is it like is it the candy, or is it like a spice? What is licorice? Let's look that up. Licorice is a confection usually flavored and colored black with the extract of the roots of the licorice plant. That answers my question. So it's both. So it's like the thing of licorice, and then it's also a plant that gives it that flavor. Okay. I thought I sounded dumb out loud when I said, is it like a spice or something? But I was not being that dumb. Wow, it looks really woody, like twigs. That explains why black licorice is not very good. I think my dad likes black licorice, but I think every dad likes black licorice for some reason. I should see if my husband likes it. Is it like a guy thing, or is it just a dad thing? Like when you have offspring, you all of a sudden just are like more willing to try black licorice. I have my little pencil case of crochet hooks. I'm also gonna let you know, I'm gonna hold these double. I'm gonna hold it double because this is like a fingering weight yarn, and I don't really feel like doing that again. Watch my granny square vest video if you would like to know the details as to why. So I will most certainly be holding this double, but I gotta figure out what hook size would be good. I think 5's gonna be way too big. 4.5. I feel like a 4mm is probably gonna be my best bet, but I'm always using my 4mm and putting them in really inconvenient places. Oh, here's a 4mm. Okay, we're good. You can't see her because of the angle. I'm devastated, but we have Mary in the house. She's chilling by my feet right now, and she's just the cutest. I have met lots of cats, and there are lots of really beautiful cats out there, but I have not met a cat with such baby face as her. She has the face of a kitten, and she's adorable. She's adorable. She has to be. I mean, she's a little bit of a troublemaker, but she's cute. I'll give her that. In case you haven't noticed, this is a very casual vibe that we're having today. We're just chilling. Winter evenings. We're going to work on this. I have no idea how long it's going to take, and I don't really care. This will be fun trying to find the center. I'm going to hold it double, but I want to like pull it from the outside and the inside. That's usually the method that I go with. Should we just start pulling something random? That can only go well. Are you just the sweetest thing to ever have existed? I think you are. I need you to see what I'm seeing right now, because she's just so sweet. She's so sweet. Are you a little baby? I know you're like 4 years old almost. Where's the center? Oh, please work out. Please be okay. Yay! Okay, we're good, we're good. So my plan is basically I am going to start a granny square and see if I should be using a 4mm hook or a 4.5. I think I'll start with a 4 because that just seems more correct for some reason. I don't know. My gut's telling me a 4. And you're so cute. She's so distracting. Oh, I can't stand it. Ah, look at that. I grabbed the end. I'm so good at this. I think I'm just going to try to make one granny square tonight, and then tomorrow we'll worry about construction and structure. And if you've never made a balaclava, I will show you how. The construction of them is super easy, fairly intuitive for knitting and crochet. I'm already feeling the indecisiveness. So here's my little black dot. Do I want to do 2 rounds per color or 1 round per color? And do I want every square to be the same? I'm so uncreative. Every time I'm indecisive, I just turn right on to Pinterest. Okay, immediately I'm thinking 1 round per color. Okay. I'm going to work on this tonight, and I will catch up with you tomorrow when hopefully I have made more decisions than I currently have made. Okay, I'm not done with this because I need to go make dinner, and I'm gonna make this a lot bigger because it's gonna have to be the whole like side panel. But I'm thinking I like the 4mm hook, but it's really hard to tell. Like, I'm just experimenting and playing around here a lot because I just don't know. Would I like a stiffer fabric for a balaclava? Yes or no? I have no idea. I'm just gonna play around and experiment and be okay with that. I am starting to get concerned that I'm not gonna have enough yarn. We'll see if that's all in my head or not. But the concern is there. I know I can just buy more if I do end up like running short, but still, I don't want to. This stuff is expensive and I'm trying to use up yarn, not buy more.
Should old acquaintance be forgot and never brought to mind? Should old acquaintance be forgot and days of old lang syne?
Was I wearing this sweatshirt yesterday? Maybe. It is a day later, and I finished the square, and I finished a second square. I made 2 of them. That means I get extra credit. The thing I like about these is that I can just keep adding to them if I want them to be bigger, and that's really nice. So these are the side panels that I'm going to use. I was able to figure out the size that I wanted based entirely on a balaclava that I already have. It's the only one that I have made so far. So the side panels on my knit one are 6 inches wide, and so for the crochet ones, because I want it to be just a little bit bigger, I did 7 inches, so just added an extra inch, because I also don't want it to be too big. I've made like a really big oversized one, and I'm scared of like doing that again because it just kept falling off my head. So you'll understand the construction that I'm going for as I go to piece this together, but for now, what I need to do is make 4 smaller granny squares. So I have my big one, and I'm gonna make 4 that are like the fourth of exactly a fourth of the size. So they're gonna be about this big, and that way I will do the 2 big panels. There's no good way for me to show you this right now. The 2 big panels will go on either side, and then I'll have 2 on the head part, on the crown of the hood, and then 2 on the back in between the large panels. And then I'll go from there and debate what I want to do for the neck portion, but for the main portion of the hood, that's what I want to go for. And these were so quick. Like I said, it's been like a day, and granted, my hands and wrist hurt from knitting too much these past 2 weeks, so I need to chill out, but you know, I'm really glad that this is such a flyby project. I should have known. I just haven't done large granny square projects like this, or like a large gauge crochet project, and when I have, it's always on something that's huge, like the piece itself is huge. So I just haven't had very many like quick crochet projects. I don't think I'm gonna make a habit of using this yarn weight, only because this is a good stiffness for a hood, I'm thinking. Obviously, I won't be able to know until it's done and I see how it lays on my head and around my face, but it feels like a good weight for my head, but I would not like this as a sweater. I only have one concern at this point, and that's about running out of yarn. At first, I thought that I would like have too much. And I think if I held this single and used a 3mm crochet hook, I would have had more than enough yarn and would have had some left over. But since I'm doubling it up, it's guzzling yarn. So I don't have a lot left. If you can see in here, I think I have like a third of a ball left. I thought that meant that I was going to have to buy more yarn, and I was a little salty about that because the intention of this project was to try something new and also to use up some yarn that I have in stash that I've been wanting to use for a while. But I was going through my yarn stash and digging through all my bins, and I found that I have another one in this color. Yay. So because of that, when I go to make the 4 granny squares, I think I'm going to make sure that the outermost layer on all of them is this oatmeal color. So because I want each of the smaller granny squares to be a quarter the size of these bigger panels, that means I'm going to end up having 5 rounds of granny stitches. So the innermost layer and the outermost layer will be this oatmeal color, and hopefully that'll mean that I will have enough black to make all 4. I'm feeling pretty medium about this. I could actually weigh them on my scale, but you know, what's the fun in that? I don't have high enough anxiety. I need to keep it real. And because I have more of the oatmeal left, I'm debating doing the collar portion as like, I haven't decided. I haven't decided yet, but I think having it be a solid color, like this oatmeal color. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, that's the plan. So I'm gonna get started on these 4 smaller granny squares, and I feel like I can knock them out in like a day or 2. My husband and I did some gaming together today, and it was actually a lot of fun. I thought we played Chain together, and I've heard that that is not a good game to play with your spouse, but you know, someone saying that just made me want to do it more. The premise of the game is you're each an individual person trying to escape from hell. So I am not a gamer, which means I have no idea how to describe game genres, but basically the premise of the game is that you are each an individual person trying to escape from hell by going up a certain number of platforms and working your way physically further up. And you are chained to your partner. So you both have to do everything in sync. So you have to walk in sync and jump in sync and go over different obstacles in decent coordination. Because every time you fall off a platform, you get sent right back down to the bottom and you have to go back up all the way. And it wouldn't like save our spots. So we'd spend like 20 minutes getting up to a certain point only to fall off. That's enough of that. I'll probably talk to you once I've finished the 4 and we'll go over construction options and trying to figure out what to do for the collar. Because I've seen a couple different, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it later. I've seen a couple things. I'm just having a hard time deciding. I wonder how warm this is going to be. Maybe medium warm. That's probably a good thing because this is made with drops air and this is very, very warm. It's also pretty soft, but I will say because it's on my face and it's like touching my neck, there is a small amount of itch, especially when I go on a long walk and like as my skin starts to warm up, it starts to feel a little bit more itchy. If you are someone that is super duper sensitive to itch, just know that. I don't think this is going to be too itchy, and it's more rough than itchy, like the Knitting for Olive yarn. Yeah, especially with the crochet texture, like it just comes, it reads as more rough. Yeah, like I said, I don't mind roughness. I just can't stand itchiness. Yeah. Yeah, I'm pushing, no. No. Half down? Yeah. This is, I think, the 3rd day of working on this. So I have my 2 big granny squares and I have my 4 little ones that immediately fell down. And I have blocked all of them, which I'm finding I really like to do with granny squares before weaving in the ends. I don't think it's something you absolutely have to do, especially not on like a fancy blocking board like the one that I have. But the one benefit to it is I think it makes it easier to do seaming. So the immediate next step for me is going to be seaming together all 4 of the small granny squares into one long line. And once I have those all seamed together in one long line, that's when I start connecting them to the larger panels. So I'm going to connect the edge of 2 of the small squares to one large square edge, and then the other 2 edges on that same side to the second edge of the large square. Once I have all of those pieces connected and fully seamed, ends weaved in, I should have a basic hood. And if I were going for a bonnet, all I would need to do is add ties to this. So hopefully once I have the hood seamed together and I have that basic outline, then I can start making decisions about what I want to do for the collar. Okay, let's briefly talk about construction. So this is my knit balaclava. So this one fits pretty tightly around my face, and there's only a little room in the actual head, and then the neckline has, I don't know, 2-3 inches of positive ease. On the actual neck portion. And if you look at it from every angle, you can really see how it goes in at the neckline. And I personally like that because most of the crochet balaclavas I've seen don't actually go in, it just goes straight down. And when I tried doing that on another knit piece that I did, it ended up just like falling off and being all over the place when I would actually go to wear it. And I like having ones like this where it's tighter on the neck so I can pull it down and it still stays put, and it's just like having a hoodie that's down. So that's just a personal preference thing, and I think that's how I'm going to move forward with this crochet one. So I finished seaming, so we have just a loose hood right now. I feel like a medieval squire. And again, for the like one person that ends up wanting to make it from this video, if you get to this point and you end up wanting to make it longer, then it's really just a matter of doing a couple rows of granny stitches all the way around, which is why I like having all the edges being the same color so that I could just, sorry, show it this side, the cute side. So I could just stitch it with the black yarn all the way across the bottom here, and it would look pretty cohesive, I think, still. Or another option is making a bunch of like really little granny squares and then adding those to the bottom, because that's also adorable. It's just like having a bunch of different sizes of granny squares. This one is going to be bigger than my knit one, like that's just the reality of it. So it's going to be a little bit bigger, and I think it'll be a good test of like what I actually like one that's really big. And this did not take long, and I have scrap yarn to spare, so if I want to make more in the future, I can make more in the future. It's not a super big deal. So like I do with a lot of my crochet projects, I am going to combine knitting and crochet because they just elevate each other. And I think what I'm going to do is cast on stitches all along the bottom here. Or not cast on, I'm going to pick up stitches. I'm going to pick up stitches all along this bottom edge, and then I'm going to cast on a couple stitches, like a couple inches of stitches maybe. That will be the portion. Here, let me show it on here. I'll pick up stitches for whatever this portion is, and that's another way that I can really determine how fitted it is around the front and around the neck. I did all of the ribbing for the hood, which is not done yet, by the way. Fit wise, we're looking really good. It's definitely just, it's a little bit looser than my other hood, but it's not so loose that it would like have problems with slipping off and not slipping off. And you can be more in the hood, but I personally like to wear it a little bit further back, so it's a little bit more out of my face. And this is not how I'm not feeling cute tonight, but I'll style it and you'll see. I'm feeling really good about this. The beige is unfortunately reading a little bit more gray than I would have liked. I was hoping that it would read as a warmer tone, but that's all right. This is the beige in question, and when you're just looking at it, it looks like brown, but yeah, when it's next to the black, it definitely looks just more grayish, but that's all right. I'm really liking the hood fit. So the only thing that is left for me to do that I was undecided on, sorry, I made a crinkle mat for the cats and they're really enjoying it, so you might hear some crinkly sounds in the background. But the only thing left for me to do on this is to add an edge around the face portion. I wasn't sure if I wanted to add an edge or not, but after getting this far and looking at this bottom like ribbing portion, I think it would just look cleaner, especially since I added the black. I think it would look cleaner if I just did like an I-cord edge around the entire like circle part of the face, and hopefully I get the tension right, because I really like the fit of this right now, so I don't want to make it any tighter or any looser. I just want it to be exactly the same, so it might take more than one try. But for the I-cord edge, like with all I-cord edges, I'm just going to pick up stitches as I go and work an I-cord all the way around, including the bottom, and hopefully make it look pretty seamless. But so far, she's looking good. She's looking cute. That's perfect. Too many projects in a row that have spanned over several months, so I wanted the win. All right, I will finish this up and style it, because I think if I properly style it, I think it's really cute. I think I just need to figure out what it works really well with, like in my wardrobe existing already, and go from there. I'm trying to record the reveal shots, and Mary just kept getting in the way of the shot. She just insisted. She was like, you can't see what the balaclava looks like. You don't get to see that. You just get to see me. We have got a lot of sounds going on in the background right now, which are keeping me heavily distracted. So I'm going to do my best to focus. I've got Pippin in the litter box. I've got people honking outside. People were just in a honking storm. I wouldn't be surprised if there was like an accident out there. And then we have the Amazon guy dropping off packages. And I don't know if you've heard their trucks recently. They park right outside my apartment and do their deliveries like 3-4 times a day because I live in a busy neighborhood, and the truck when it's backing up always make this sound. It's like and they do that because they think that people hear it better than normal like reverse truck sounds. But does it have to really happen like 3+ times a day, like directly outside one of my only windows in my apartment? I would not do well in New York, in conclusion. As is pretty normal for me with the reveal part of a video, I haven't even mentioned the finished object yet. So, here we are. This is a balaclava. Some people call it a hood. Lots of different names going on. Pippin, please don't. I'm begging you. I am this close to an overstimulation spiral where I just curl up in bed with some blankets. I can't. So a recap of the technical stats. This was done with knitting for olive merino, held double for the crochet portions and held triple for the knit sections. I used the colors oatmeal and licorice, and these balls, by the way, were all full when I started, and I'm glad that I didn't run out of the black. I was so nervous about that. The grainy squares are about 8 inches by 8 inches, and the small ones that I did up top and in the back are 4 inches by 4 inches. And I feel like that's a good size, but I have a really small head, so if you were making this for yourself, you might want to size up accordingly. Maybe do like a 9 by 9 on the side panels. And then I did, what did I do? 2x2 rib with the same size knitting needles as I did crochet hook. So I used a 4mm hook for the granny squares, 4mm needles for the 2x2 rib on the bottom here, which gives me 2x2 rib is so stretchy, which is really nice, but it like sucks in perfectly. And then just did an I-cord bind off around the edge. If I was someone that just knew how to crochet and did not know how to knit, then do like a crochet ribbing. There's so many tutorials out there for crochet ribbing. And then just do like a couple rounds of single crochet, like maybe 1 or 2 rounds of single crochet around the edge if you want to like clean it up and give it like a crisp look on the face portion. But for me, just did an applied I-cord edge. Super easy. Again, lots of tutorials online. So this is all just to say that if people have wanted to make this, or you've even considered making one, I would just try and self-draft it. If you're feeling confident, self-draft. If you're not feeling confident, try self-drafting. I'm really trying to encourage people to just try, because I get way too many comments of people that want basically want me to write out a pattern for what I've done. I'm like, with something like this, it's so simple. I beg of you, just try. Because I started, let me show you my first attempt, okay? Let's show you. This is attempt number 1, okay? I'm showing this to show you that you need to let yourself fail every once in a while, okay? This is way too big insanity. This is like 9 to 10 inches of positive ease. I would recommend going for anywhere between 2 and 4 inches of positive ease. And for true beginners, positive ease, it would just be like the measurement of your neck, like measure that with a tape measure, and then add 4 inches to it, like 2 to 4 inches, and then that's how wide you want your collar to be. This is the second balaclava I made. Let me just get this on. This is how it sits when I'm going on a walk, because it like moves itself around and it doesn't want to stay cute or pretty, and I cast on way too. There was lots of mistakes, I'm saying, involved in process number 1. So we can just forget about that, because with knitting, oh boy, we make mistakes. We make mistakes in knitting and crochet, and mistakes are good. This is attempt number 2. As you can see, I learned from all of my mistakes. I absolutely love this one, and I've actually made another one just like this for my mom, except it has color work on it that's really cute. So I normally don't have a ton of evidence of my failures because I try not to take pictures of them. At least before I had a YouTube channel, I don't take pictures of them, and I usually unravel them. But in this case, I was doing some digging, and I'm like, I gotta show people that for this video. I need to show them. I fail, you just don't normally get to see it all that much. Now, this video is not about this. If you would like to watch me show you how to make a knit balaclava and how to adjust it to add like cables or ribbing or color work, I can do that too. And so can you. It's really easy. I love it. I don't really want to show you how to do that though, because Well Loved Knits already has a balaclava tutorial. I will link that. It is a fantastic tutorial, and that is the video that taught me how to make this. So it would be really unfair of me to make a tutorial being like, she literally already did it. So go watch her video and make it from there. Final technical things to comment on this. I haven't fully blocked this yet. I've only blocked the individual squares. So I'm expecting the hood portion to open up just a little bit, and I think that's gonna be perfect because right now it's a little bit tighter than I want. I like that my white one is like nice and tight, but I wanted this to be a pretty medium one. So this is a little bit bigger than my white one, and I think once I block it, it's gonna be absolutely perfect. Right now, it's good enough. It's good enough for me to keep wearing it. I had minimal faith in myself. As far as knitting for Olive goes, my takeaway from this, and my takeaway when I did my crochet granny square vest, is that I think knitting for Olive really shines in the colors that they offer. I think the yarn itself is like good, but I've also used better, softer yarn maybe. So I don't want to write it off entirely. I think it's really nice. And again, their colors are just to die for. Yeah, it's not feeling very itchy. Granted, I have not worn this out on a walk yet. It's not feeling entirely itchy, and it's really close to the neck. It's just more rough, which I don't actually mind all that much. So knowing this, I think if someone gave me a bunch of knitting for Olive yarn, I would not shy away from making a sweater out of it. But it also wouldn't be my first choice. As far as warmness level goes, this is kind of perfect because, where's my other one? This is alpaca. It's Drops Alpaca Air, and this is so freaking warm. It's pretty thin of a material, surprisingly, for something that's hand knit. It's so warm. Okay, and now moving on to the topic of like balaclavas and hoods in general and what I feel about them, because people have some really strong opinions. If you don't want to wear them, don't wear them. These were not, I don't remember these being a thing when I was a kid. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention, but we didn't really have these, nor did anyone I know or recall. I don't know if I would have worn one as a kid. Maybe if I found a really cute one, but I feel like I wouldn't have liked it that much as a kid. As an adult, I absolutely love this. This is the most practical thing that I think I've ever knit as far as cold weather goes. I would have worn the heck out of this in college. When I was walking on campus on days when it would be like negative 15 degrees Fahrenheit outside, I would have worn this. I would have worn this so hard. And as an adult, I will absolutely be wearing these and making these more. I almost like them more than hats, because with hats, I feel like I have to commit to a hairstyle, or I get like hat hair, you know? I don't feel like I get that with balaclavas or hoods as much. I don't think my hair gets nearly as messed up. And I like that with the hoods, I can just like fold it down. Yeah, I like that these can just be like a cute little hoodie moment when I get a little bit too warm, and I don't have to think about it. It doesn't feel like it's pulling on my neck either when it's going further back. I would warn against using heavier or denser yarns, because then you would have that be like pretty weighted. If you plan to wear it like down like this, then that might pull back and like pull at your neck a little bit. But when you use a lighter weight material, then you don't really have that issue. So I love these just as like a really practical thing to wear in the winter. I also think I have the perfect, I'll be honest, the perfect hair length for balaclavas. I feel like this haircut is really meant for these hoods. Like, I can just slip it right on and my hair just kind of tucks in all nice. Perfect hair length. I know, I get, like, from a stylistic standpoint, balaclavas are not everybody's favorite, but I really like them. There's some really interesting discussions going on about the current like trend and uptick in people making and wearing and buying in general, like outside of the crafting community even, of people wearing more like balaclavas and hoods out and about. And sorry, I'm inside, it's warm. These discussions are really interesting from the perspective of oftentimes like African American individuals, which is so fairly being pointed out the whole like, of course a white girl can put on a hood and not have it be a thing. But if you don't know, there's a long history of hooded clothing in America and the sociological and racial impacts of such clothing. And then I also am really interested in the discussions I've been hearing from people who are Muslim or have Muslim attachments, and women who are hijabi wearing women, and their discussions around hoods and how it makes them feel. And that's really interesting. Those conversations are so interesting to me. And it's really upsetting because oftentimes when I hear those discussions being brought up, you get people immediately jumping and being like, well, I'm from Norway and it's just like a warm weather thing. It has nothing to do with Muslim people. And it's like, whoa, hold up. How about we listen for a second instead of immediately being like, oh my gosh, I'm assuming that you're telling me I'm no longer allowed to wear hoods. It's like, no, how about we listen to what people have to say about these discussions and go from there. So if you didn't know that that was a thing and that those conversations are going on, it's something very interesting to explore. I just know that I'm not the best person to be the mouthpiece for Muslim and African American women in this country. And globally. It's not just America. Oh my gosh. Yeah, globally. Sorry. What a fun little bright, happy ending to the balaclava video.